Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours.
Welcome back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through from Peyton. He's just gonna solidify everything within those.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Idu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an athlete immediately goes back and finds skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2-3. So back and forth.
Welcome back, everybody. After a very nice low 45-minute break between series, we have now made it to our 10 o'clock game NA Masters Division. We have sort of skills, nothing too crazy, versus the Celestial Knights. Of course, myself and Thor will be covering it for you guys once again. And I'm really excited to see these guys duke it out. Master Division only having 4 people in this mid-season bracket, as always. So, as a reminder, mid-season is a single elim bracket. So, loser here is out and will return in the regular season.
Yep, and what these two teams at least have looking forward to them is the fact that they already know who they're playing against for the next matchup, right? In a 5-map series between Low Ground Main and Truebill Nation. Low Ground Main won it at the end of the day, so they know who they're facing up against in this grand finals for this Masters Division side. But first, they need to get this match out of the way to determine who makes it to that finals bracket. And well, let's take a look at the players on these teams, starting with sort of skilled. Some SOS is needed by this team, right? We have Dub, Hoxie Voxy, they call me Viral, and Ligmatos. Oh, why?
You had to do it.
I had to do it, but hey, I'm going to have a very stern discussion with their tank player, because they are he is coaching one of the teams that I semi-help manage. So I need a word with him, you know, about this teenager.
Agreed here. Sort of skilled game, putting their skill to the test against the Celestial Knights as we turn over to their roster and their starting lineup for tonight. We have Anax and Moonlights on the DPS. Moonlights, I know her personally as my hit scan for Kongo Heroes, so I'm looking towards her to get those picks on the Widowmaker, on the Sojourn consistently. Bananas going crazy on the Winston favorite at least. We have Big Brain Hope in the back line, ideally with the Mercy Lucio. A little bit of a controversial backline, but I'm excited to see what they cook up back there regardless. And I'm really excited to see exactly how we're going to go into this first map on Lijiang Tower. Again, round 1 is going to be fixed, and then the loser will be picking both the map and mode type for their subsequent map, and then they also get first ban choice. Which, speaking of, let's talk about those real fast.
Yep, bans, Lijiang Tower. We know the drill. Lijiang Tower is pretty much the control version of King's Row, everyone's quote-unquote favorite map, and very known for being a dive brawl map. I feel like I'm projecting by saying Lijiang Tower is a dive map. It was at one point when it was ball diva meta in like Overwatch 1, but let's not go back to that traumatic era of time. But case in point, normally it is a brawl map, so at least we should be expecting some level of brawl enabled bans, right? So how we define brawl enabled, maybe that is loosely, a Pharah ban is loosely a brawl enabling ban, right? That means less poke damage in the air. Your teammates don't have to worry about aerial superiority, so I think that's a great pick.
For sure, and I think it just comes down to what characters are strong on Lijiang rather than what characters are strong for a certain composition. And Pharah may quite possibly be one of the most oppressive ones on Night Market and on Gardens. Control Center can be a little bit more debatable, it's a little more enclosed for her, but as we now lock in on the second ban, it can only be a tank or a support, and we're going over to a tank ban, that being the Diva. Very interesting, actually, as we haven't really seen a Diva be banned on a map like Lijiang. You know, we usually see her be banned on a more dive-centric map, or just a map that really favors Diva's playstyle, which is that assassination kind of play, where you just want to go in, kill somebody, squishy, and come back out. So with these two bans, very interesting. I'm a big fan of them, actually, just because it's something different. And that airspace, like you said, it won't be super volatile to be in, just to exist in. So as we have our head-to-heads, starting lineups are locked in and loaded, Lijiang Tower on the cusp of being loaded into, it could really go either way.
Yep, it can definitely go either way, but speaking of that Diva ban at the end of the day, it's might be an answer more of, you know, what is a tank that could just eat through a lot of spam. So if you're expecting something spammy coming from the enemy team, you definitely, you know, if you're expecting to play something spammy, you would definitely want to ban something that denies that spam from being enabled, right? Shields can only, you know, shield from the spam as much as they can, but Diva eats through almost all of them until her DM runs out. So I think that might have been the play for this team, but as we take a look at what these two teams plan to roll out with, we're seeing very different play styles, I guess, coming into play. Sort of skilled SOS thinking of going something divier, right, with that ball tank lead up, while Celestial Knights sticking to speed, and brawl.
Don't hate it. I mean, we're gonna be seeing the Sim swaps go right back to maybe dub on the tour, which would be really interesting. Oh no, we're going for the Tracer on either side here. Really good marking from Annex and Dub to be, you know, seen on either side here. And that probably might be the biggest factor in these engagements. But Moonlight's already super low. She has to get topped up by Celestial Knights as Bananas goes straight and gets slept on, gets antinated, is getting pelted by everyone else, but is trying to find his Brigida behind the already taken Mega Pack there, and is not going to get much effort. But we were able to keep the supports out of the fight as we see Call Me M going around the backline. Dub does get found out by Anax, and they get completely destroyed. And as you can see, look at the separation here, Thor. there's just no way either of them are going to be topped up by the supports or supported by their DPS.
Yep, and you can see how this SOS team wants to play, right? The Sojourn sticking with that backline. At least they're trying to keep themselves up against this Ramatra Sojourn span coming in. But I think at the end of the day, you still need to be able to push through and enable your Wrecking Ball, and that just didn't happen. So you see the swaps coming along the side of SOS, mirroring somewhat the gameplay with Dub already taking the pick on the big brain.
Nice swaps there from Ligma and Viral. Honestly, it's already showcasing some really good, insane turnaround from Sort of Skill. They've taken out both Big Brain and Moonlight. Bananas not too far back there. The 70% armor damage reduction may do some wonders, but it doesn't do everything in the world. It's all up to just hope to get a little bit of contesting, get around 50% on the objective. Oh, and Moonlight's coming in with a last minute stall as well, and so is Big Brain. I don't hate the staggers in because you still have control of the objective, so just like that, they gain another like 10%.
Yep, and that's enough 10% to at least regroup, get time together, and hey, with how quick they died, they just respawn together one way or another, and they're coming in with that Ramatra ultimate for Celestial Knight, so that's something to open up with along with Sojourn's ultimate from Moonlight. Now, if you're Sort of Skilled, you want M to go towards those mines and deny that push from White Room, because that's a very, very tiny choke.
These are the fights I never see between Tracers. They're fighting over these mini packs like they depend on it, and they really do, but right underneath their noses is Bananas. All over Hoxie Voxie with the Annihilation. Viral does get the move off on Anax, and that Tracer player is just kind of out of the fight for a bit here. Overclock's still ready for Hoxie Voxie. They're going to be coming right back with that in the back pocket to be expended here. So we go for a self-sound barrier for Viral for that extra contestant, the same way that Hope did. And just like that, Moonlight, excuse me, while she was trying to come back, while she was trying to set up for again overclock ready, she gets pelted down by Anax on this Tracer. Hoxie pops the overclock in. Mind you, Thor, Banana's been on this point the entire time, just refuses to die, gets to stick onto Call Me M, and just like that, yeah, they're going to contest, they're going to stack themselves out to get a little bit of an edge percentage-wise, but it won't last that long, around even percentages here.
Yep, and with 63% on the board, Sort of Skilled have some ultimates to work with in the next fight. Dub already on that pulse bomb, a great stick would change things, and LT, Toads, name, Rush. They're probably gonna rush in this next fight, especially with that kill off from the pulse.
And I just couldn't get the mini pack in time. Really quick turnaround for Sort of Skilled. Honestly, really fast team fight is still going. They're gonna get a couple of staggers on, probably on the back line of Big Brain, which you really don't need because look, Moonlight and Anax are both back. And wait a minute, it looks like Call Me M has to get out of dodge real fast before putting some pressure on the Bananas, who pops the Annihilation right after getting a beautiful pick on Viral. And just like that, it's a team win for Celestial Knights. That's how you do it. That's how you turn the game around in the face of danger.
Yeah, but if there's one thing They Call Me M has built towards, they are very close to the mines and have caused enough disruption. Now their Kiriko is still alive with that rush, and I think that's your game plan to engage in this next fight, especially when the only answer to it may be that Sojourn ultimate, if they can land the real gunshots.
Oh, here comes Moonlight popping that overclock, waiting for these heads to peek out these corners. Recall already finished really early on as they did not want to be in the face of Moonlight, but Call Me M, you might be a tank, but not that much. We traded trade-off of a tank for Moonlight's DPS here. Pulse goes wide, doesn't find anything, but Anax is not even in the fight anymore. 89% to 99%. It's either Celestial Knights has to take it now, or they have to succeed, and they have to regroup fast. Again, mind you, Bananas just basically has no support sometimes, and they just don't die. And that's, I think, the biggest thing here. No one's focusing on Bananas. No one's killing Bananas. Here comes the minefield, and not even that's going to be enough to secure the win. Big Brain comes back in time to help Bananas out as they survive 2 minefield bombs on them, and they get the objective.
I think a big of the challenge also for this SOS team is the fact that because Celestial Knights is running that Tuna Lucio, a lot of it is just the easy maneuverability in and out, right? Your Lucio could just wall ride out of the way, really enable someone else who needs the additional help. And if you're Big Brain, right, if you're being pressured out, if you go in the air, it's going to be extra effort for the enemy team to look up and try to kill you. So I think a part of how Bananas really just stays alive is because the supports that he has are hyper slippery, and that's honestly what you want sometimes from these supports, is just for them to stay alive long enough to give in some healing here and there, and then for everything else to be enabled. But we have some sim TP play, and oh my gosh, the amount of that.
Like I said, it all comes back down to Malga. Banana's life might be a little bit harder here because of the map overrun, but I mean, when you're down a support, that's a-okay. You've lost ANAC, but you've also lost both your DPS for SOS here. And Banana's just popping the Nemesis form, putting a lot of pressure onto They Call Me M, who, yeah, you have the Cutter Overdrive, you have the crit over health also building up when enemies are on fire, but it's still looking like SOS Knights is playing for the sustained game rather than the outspeed game.
Yep, and for SOS, what you want is to at least get some angles on this, you know, bunkier core, and I think that's where part of the problem is when they want to engage to at least get that poke damage in, they're kind of not at the same page in terms of timing. So Moonlight's very solid position to at least get some railgun shots in, especially hypercharged at that 100, so anyone's head can get shot off at that one moment, but ultimates to work with, not much.
Oh, but huge Anthony from Ligma comes in right on Anax, and that was a beautiful follow from Call Me M in order to secure the fight with a really solid opening pick here. We're going to be losing dub in the meantime, but it's still looking very solidly in favor of Celestial Knight to keep this objective in their control and kind of just continue staggering it out. No one's looking at Hope, by the way. You know, it looks like Bananas gave all their attention to Hope, and Hope is just making sure no one's looking at them, and they get basically a 4-piece by themselves.
The support line of Celestial Knights are just making it easy for the team to still hold on to this point, right? By just staying alive, enabling each other, they've capped it at now 65% and going up, but hey, Sort of Skilled still has that nano and that orbital ray, so they have something to at least come into and answer this, you know, wall, and maybe potentially the Macho ultimate as being built up.
We are seeing the nano being kind of onto Call Me, and we're also going to be using double support ultimates from the backline of Sort of Skill. That's the orbital, and that's also the nano. We have the cage also being procced here, and we have to look at Bananas. Exactly what the game plan is. They want to make sure that this person is just dead for the first time in forever, but we're still seeing a really good stagger from the side of Celestial Knights. They're gonna get to 99% before the flip happens. We're sort of skilled here, and there it is, 98% to what has now gone to 5%.
Yep, and I think Sort of Skill needs to be aggressive in this one. Hold that choke, force Celestial Knights to use ultimates right away, and back out from them because they have nothing really to work with besides this overclock and incoming copy, while Celestial Knights have 4 ultimates to work with, and they're just going to TP in with it.
Oh, they teleport in, but they immediately get shut down, you saw. You know, I think what something that we are seeing is, well, first of all, the overclock being procced, the fight arguably was kind of already was lost, but me, when I lie, Dub goes for the duplicate onto the support. Hope tries to get a couple of picks for themselves as they try to, you know, get out of there. Moonlight went for the overclock, got a couple of good picks in, and honestly, in a perfect world, they would have gotten it, but Dub's duplicate was so good.
Yeah, Varel just dropping very low and needs to hide just a bit. No ultimates to work with still for SOS, but Celestial Knights.
Wait a minute.
2 huge. Oh wait, they did. What? The?
Oh wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
We went for a rotation. Interesting. Sorcerer went for a rotation around the coast to follow up on Celestial Knights' rotation around their own coast, and then of course Celestial Knights being the faster team, gets to the point, flips it before Call Me M had this run back online, and that pivotal mistake, Thor, costed them Lijiang Tower.
100%, right? Because that point was definitely in their favor. Yes, they were right in their mind to stuff that choke, make sure that Celestial Knights don't get that push in. But you are correct. It was a speed difference at the end of the day. I think one way or another, as much as you would want to pincer them and deny that rotate, you still need someone on point to meet them, right? Before they could even hit it. Make it a bit difficult for them to even take that point. But it just didn't seem like there was resistance. And I think this is a kind of story that we're sort of seeing with at least these teams, is that as much as they're thinking of this really big plays of like, oh, we're smart enough, let's rotate this, maybe not overcomplicating it might also help. And I think that's something that SOS might need to carry over to this next map, which is going to be at least in their deciding favor for now.
Yes, absolutely. And I have to agree with you. I like the idea of trying to pincer them, but like you said, you have to have someone anchor the point, whether it be a nuisance, so keep your Lucio on there just to speed around and make sure that point is not getting overturned underneath you. Or you have to have a 3-2 split with like your Sojin Lucio on the point, your Mala coming in from behind, something that will at least help. Because the reason you want the Malga on the coast is because of that boop debuff, where they don't get booped as far. So, at least your Malga is safe from a cheeky boop from like Hope or something. But that's okay. First map, always a little warm up for most teams. They have the power in their hands. We're going, I did not hear that.
We are going to a push map known
thank
as the home of the sun hero, known as Ilari. Yes, folks, we are headed to Runasapi, one of the newer push maps in this game. And personally, I personally have mixed fun on this map.
What? Okay, see,
Mixed fun.
So when Runasapi
okay.
first came out, I don't know why I couldn't hear Runasapi, but I forgot that was even a push for a second. But going to Runasapi, I used to not like it when it first came out, just because the advancedness of all the different high grounds, the bounce pads were pretty cool for a push map to really have. You didn't really see that with New Queen Street, Esperanza, or Coliseo. So the advances was there, but as time went on, it started winning me over, I fear. It's a really good Kiriko map. It's really good for that JQ rush if we really did want to go for the JQ rush, and that's like, I think
that
Jugger
might
Queen.
play.
Yeah, Jugger Queen is like
play.
the most perfect, beautiful composition, I think, to play. It's just so fun for everyone around.
I mean, if we take a look, if we go back to this roster lineup for Sword of Skill, and they had their favorite heroes on it, you could see right away that They Call Me M had the Junker Queen as his preferred image or like character. So
yep,
I think that is a hint of why they want to go to Runasapi one way or another. It is a map that heavily enables a queen composition. There's a lot of corners that makes it easier for a Junker Queen to play with, right? Less of those really long sight lines known like Coliseo would have, which personally really did not have fun with on Coliseo. But still, there's a worse push map in my opinion. But at the end of the day, I think this is a strategic pick to enable their tank one way or another.
1000%. And speaking of the tank, like, they have the Jugger Queen as a favorite hero. They also have the Reinhardt as their most played hero. So arguably, if you want to play Reinhardt a lot, you also probably like Rein, or you know what I mean? So they have options of going different brawls, and they clearly like the brawl. And Runasapi gives way to a faster brawl if I see a fast backline. Like, I think definitely the reason Celestial Knights were just because they had speed at every moment. They had speed for engages, and they had speed for disengages. They had speed for double engages, and they were all over. So I feel like if Sword of Skill gives that leeway that gives that same equal footing with a speed kit of their own, we could see a really, really close Runasapi game here. But let's go to the bans. Let's see what our teams are thinking of. As a reminder, no repeat bans in tank, damage, or support. And teams also cannot repeat a ban they had made previously, but the other team can make that ban if necessary. So, as a quick refresher, we had banned the Pharah, we banned the Diva earlier. Makes sense, but Runasapi might be seeing some switch-ups here. Might be seeing a support ban, maybe.
I mean, so my take on it is banning a support is generally weird, just because there's always a decent substitute for a support that gets banned, as opposed to a no.
Why would they do this? What are they cooking?
What are they cooking? Oh, wait. Big vision. What is Torb good at? The turret denying, engages because a person's already taking way too much poke damage coming in, right, from that turret. So maybe there's this expectation from SOS that they want to play the Wrecking Ball, because They Call Me M did come out with that Wrecking Ball on Lijiang Tower with varying successes with it initially on Garden. So maybe that's something they want to play. But it looks like that can't happen either, because Celestial Knights have decided to ban the Wrecking Ball instead. So I think this is definitely a direct response to that Torbjorn ban because there's this expectation they want to play something that's flankier that needs to sustain while causing disruption. So ban the character that's able to do that. So I'm at least expecting maybe this time around some honest brawl rush engages.
Yeah, and I've also seen some really messed up comps with a Torment and a Soldier where they have the same idea, but they go on different off angles, and you're kind of being pushed from 3 different angles at once from super far away. So, really quickly, we are going to be seeing a substitution coming in from the side of Sword of Skill. We're going to be seeing Dragonor 999 take Hoxie Voxie's place here as DPS. Buddy, Torb has been banned. I am so sorry to tell you your favorite character is no longer in the play here. But like you said, we are seeing that queen favorite from They Call Me M. So we're going to stop be giving way to these really cool kind of off-angle battles with literally the terrain itself going up and down in various places and really fighting up the hill. Like that can be kind of difficult if you're on the attack side of things, or you know, when you're pushing the bot up and down those hills. And a lot of really, this is why I didn't take to Runasapi so early on. It's such a vertically demanding map sometimes, you know, and if you aren't ready for it, it can be kind of hard to play into. But clearly the backlines are both ready. They're going for the Kiri Lucio, big fan. Going for the double speed for Celestial Knights, also a big fan. So with it's all up to how Bananas and They Call Me M are going to be taking space and allowing their deepest to play.
Well, Celestial Knights has a fan in you, looking at the match chat right now. A lot of them have been saying hi to you, so if you didn't catch that, Mott, but as expected, you were yapping, but as you were yapping, we are now just rolling out with these compositions with a very honest Ramatra brawl. Just a big difference on the type of flex support that is going to be in the backline, providing those heals with Sword of Skill with Akiriko, which is, as I personally believe, is the more preferred hero to be playing on a map like Runasapi. So let's see if this is going to make a huge difference for them.
I think it will be. Ooh, I'm definitely looking at Ligma and Viral to make some plays here with the respective characters. And look, this is what I was talking about. They're going to be putting these angles and a lot of pressure onto sort of Skilled with Moonlight and Hope kind of going on their own angles and putting pressure onto the tank here. But the fight's still happening. It's been a minute, Thor. The fight's still happening. The objective is slightly going in favor of Celestial Knights as they're playing corners, they're playing around these sight lines of the opposing dragon. They're playing into this other Ramatra. It's a big, beefy brawl battle between two Omnics, and the backlines putting in the overtime to make sure they stay alive throughout this engagement. No ult ready, but there is no tank on the field for the side of Sword of Skilled, and just like that, we have won the fight, traded off the Sojourns, but Moonlights will be coming back pretty soon as they clean up the fight.
Yep, bot in the favor of Celestial Knights with a pulse bomb in their pocket for this next engagement. Both Tracers with pulse bombs, and this is going to be a matter of getting that stick onto key characters. And if you are sort of skilled, you're trying to get that on that Juno. Big Brain pumping all the heals just really to keep Bananas up, but Dub really won't be able to do that with Moonlights just really watching that backline and making sure they can't really dive in with their team. So that's a great pick for them at the end of the day, and Sort of Skilled might need to do this engagement with one down.
They might have to just go in with maybe a little bit of a split here, you know, with their Sojourn and Lucio going somewhere without the Tracer to pick up the off-angling, but it's okay, we end up trading up the Tracers anyway. The fight's happening in a really uncomfortable part of Runasapi. The orbital is coming through, however, helping these Celestial Knights push through the uncomfortable part of this map, get the checkpoint, and maybe start to get out of dodge relatively fast after the fact. It's just still kind of down one character, but they were able to get the... Oh, they're committing, Thor. They're going for the Annihilation. Double Annihilation. Soundbearer also committed on both ends here. Dub, a victim of circumstances, not going to see the light of day in this team fight. Viral, beautiful Soundbearer there. I love the... taking it and waiting for the fight to go a little bit more in favor of themselves, but that's a Vortex, that's Call Me M getting slowed down, and just like that, when we saw a 4v5 start off, it ended in the favor of the Knights.
Yeah, Moonlight's just landing each of these shots and enabling just really capitalizing on the openings created by her teammates, sort of skilled in the back foot, but this time with 2 ultimates to work with, their own overclock and another pulse bomb. Dub really haven't been able to use it, but is there enough with their Lucio to pressure out a Anax.
Oh, this is an exciting fight happening backline. No one gets the victor, however. Anax, Dub came in, respect the 1v1, and do not back away from me ever again. I love that from Dub, and that's gonna give Dragon the space to proc open with this overclock, take down Bananas, go for Moonlight, who's sliding and trying to contest the bot a little bit longer, waste at least even a couple of seconds, and it works out. But only now traversing over the checkpoint. Unfortunately, that means that Moonlight and Bananas are gonna be getting that backward spawn.
Yes, but if I am Celestial Knights, that is completely a-okay because you did at least push the bot significantly far for, this map, and with push distance really makes a difference. So they have time to regroup and re-engage, and for Sword of Skill, you only have that pulse right now, and you need to keep M up.
Oh, and just like that, one pulse goes out, goes wide, the other gets a kill on Moon Knight. We're still trading things off, though. I love that Celestial Knights is not afraid of losing a pivotal character, a pivotal player like Moon Knight or like Anax. They're okay with continuing onwards. And just like that, like I said, they've lost both their DPSs, but they're still okay with pushing the bot, maybe at least until the corner, and maybe retreating to regroup back. There it is, to regroup back with their team around the coast.
I think there is this hesitancy sometimes from the Kiriko player of Sword of Skill to pop that rush. I think there are times where I think just to really push the fight forward, you may need to push it mid-fight, right? Or after maybe a major cooldown shot, even when your RAM is down. And that's exactly what they just have to do now, is to use it and re-engage, find the target.
Yep, I love this rush around the corner. Classic one. Again, when it's going down, but that usually doesn't mean that's the end of the Celestial Knights as they continue putting a lot of pressure on Dove. Gets the recall from both creatures out. I hear Annihilation. I hear Sound Barrier in response from Viral. Hope goes in with their own Sound Barrier, and now it is a complete just punching fest between Bananas and Call Me M. Big Vortex come through. NX, not in the fight. Big Brain gets called out by Dub, and I think that might be where our tail ends of this team fight, Thor.
Yeah, even with your Ramatra down, I think that's enough to at least get this bot pushed back forward. If you can get the Ramatra off it, at least you are 4. Don't make that 3. Please get a pick.
Bananas! Thank you.
Oh, there we go. Sort of Skill. Bananas doing a great job staying alive through all of that and stalling it even further, dwindling the clock down to 4 minutes 10. 3 ultimates to work with, 4 Sword of Skill, and one of them is a Ramatra ultimate. So I think that will at least ensure M manages to stay alive and push back everyone else, especially now that Celestial Knights don't really have a Juno ult to deal with it, don't have Beak to work with also, so it's going to be all up to Moonlights to get immense value with her Sojourn ultimate. So let's see if that's something that they can do in this next engagement, but I want Sword of Skill to be proactive. That was not proactive.
Ligmato's called out positioning wise by Bananas. That's all that she wrote. I mean, it was a opposing overclock versus overclock, and Moonlight, I fear, won the battle before it even started.
I think the part of it was you saw that they have 3 ultimates. They're the ones in the lead. There seems to be this, I don't know, hesitancy sometimes to just push in with that ultimate. Right? It may not be like the optimal positioning, but with how quick these bots move, and you just at least wanted to get the butt scratch, you want to use an ultimate. So what I want to see Sword of Skill do with this next fight is engage with one, even before Big Brain gets this orbital ray, because that orbital ray is going to be a disaster for them. So they need to engage now for Sword of Skill with an ultimate, something.
Agreed. Both players just keeping each other in check. Excuse me, but Dragon Noir, beautiful. Here comes the overclock. Gets it onto Moonlight. Now he's looking over at Bananas. Looks over at Big Brain. Everyone they look at just kind of falls over and dies. Looked at Hope for half a second. Hope died. Beautiful. Good stuff. But the bots are being recontested by, of course, Anax, who is doing their hardest, making sure this bot does not go anywhere. There's the body. Oh, my comfort character.
But hey, at least that means they're full 4 for Celestial Knights when they engage here, right? So that means they can re-engage with an orbital ray, which is exactly what happens. Oh, double it with Ramatra ult. Oh my god, ults.
Oh, there are 3 ults on my 3 ults on side of SOS, and then Celestial Knights going with the Annihilation. Still looking at Call Me M, super low, but holding block for life. As Banana goes in with the aggression, they drop their arms for 2 seconds, and Banana takes the kill in their favor. Hope does get the one needed. It's a little bit of contesting, but the contesting isn't on the card, so they're able to get that checkpoint and go past it. A minute left, a minute 45 on the clock here.
I think this is doable for the side of Source Guild. Yes, you don't have your Ramatra right now, and it's closer to the spawns of Celestial Knights. But that huge pick by Dragonor on Anax might just slow it down just a bit more, providing more time for the Call Me M to come back. No ultimates to work with for Sort of Skilled. So I think for Celestial Knights, just so that your Lucio is on the same page as that Ramatra ultimate, use it now, use it aggressively, engage, and create an opening, find that clear code, get a kill. That's what you have to do as Celestial Knights, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
I love the free cam there where we saw both tanks looking behind each other and not at each other. That was the funniest thing. Unfortunately, this might be where Sort of Skilled is going to be able to get that checkpoint with just a minute to spare. We're seeing a bit of a contest from, of course, Anax, and they're trying their best, but at this point, you really don't want Celestial Knights to start staggering, and you want them, give the point, give a minute, now you gotta go through a lot of work to get back to your glory.
Right, and if I am Sort of Skilled, I think the goal here is to back off, get a better angle, have this bot push, right? I think wait for another ultimate to work with and go in again, because RP what I want to see from Celestial Knights right now is go in hard, go in aggressive, because you at least have that beat to sustain.
You have beat to sustain, you also have beat just to be aggressive, because Call Me M only has 50%, 60% on Annihilation so far. Plus, I'm ready for Dub, who has been so consistent with landing them on pivotal targets like Moonlight. Oh, there it is, the sound barrier comes through from either end here, now there's none. Oh, it gets stuck, but doesn't find a kill. Dragonor gets Anax out of the fight. Plus, I'm ready for Dub's end here. Might be sticking onto the Omnic form of Banana before they pop the Annihilation. And we gotta make sure we're on this objective. We have both the Overclock and Annihilation going over. And Prox here. Dub finds the counter Moonlight. Dragonor tries to make some space away from this Annihilating Ramatra. And then Anax helps and saves Hope by the skin of their teeth. Now you can look at the backline as they try to retreat. And that is not gonna go over very well for Dragonor.
If I am Sort of Skilled, I think we just like die on that bot, hard regroup together, and then pick a point where you want to take that fight. Because you have 2 ultimates to work with, no beat online yet for Celestial Knights, only that orbital raid. So you can at least push past maybe that orbital raid and get like an attack on someone who may not be in on it, right? If I am Celestial Knights, I will need to pray to the Lord that Big Brain does not die early and you get a really solid fight with an orbital ring.
Call Me M is stuck on a bench? Oh no.
Oh no.
Call Me M gets disconnected. They pause a fight. They have to pause a fight after the engagement. That's really unfortunate. Okay, we're going to go to very quick to us real fast as we get them back in the fight. I really hope they come back in time, because this is literally overtime. You have Annihilation. If they completely disconnect from the lobby, they're gonna lose Annihilation for.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to be painful, because I'm not too sure if at least this specific code has that protection for ultimates, because some tournaments do have that, ultimate protection if you get DC'd. But in this case, we're not too sure, and at the end of the day, it's going to be painful if They Call Me M comes back and that's not there, because that could turn things around for them, especially when, as we stated, no Lucio beat to answer it yet. Only an Orbital Ray on the side of Celestial Knights is available. So if I am Sort of Skilled, you need to think of a game plan. Both, what do we do if if we still have the Annihilation? What do we do if we don't have it anymore, right? And think of, okay, if that's what we have, how do we get the most value of the remaining ultimates that we have, which I think is just the Pulse Bomb of Dub.
That's all they have. So eyes looking towards Dub. Looks like Call Me M is going to be able to keep the Annihilation, clutch CGL code, but look how far away they are from recapping the objective. They have that over. They're gonna have Anax coming back with their pulse bomb. Hope almost has the sound barrier as well. Here comes the last minute touch. The recall has been intended from Dub. Here's the orbital. Here's the Annihilation for Call Me M. This is gonna be major. Now I'm looking at Bananas. We go for the hack. trying to put all the pressure onto the team here, but we've lost both our DPS, we've lost that clutch factor. That's 3 ultimates being dumped into this last fight, and that, Thor, is all that we needed from from Sword of Skill to bring us back to a much more even 1-to-1 scoreboard. I am so glad that did not mess with their mental. They came back strong, popped their ultimates, had their win condition, and ran with it.
Exactly, and you know, well played by Sword of Skill to really take that back from Celestial Knights, because if you looked at it initially, Celestial Knights really pushed out very far. They didn't let that distance deter them. They really just turned things around and got value from this Runeswapping map. So I respect them, because honestly, I may have done the same in a match before, where the bot by the enemy team was way pushed past us, and I think that was in like the 8-minute mark, and we flipped it around at the end of the day. So I know how much work and like mental fortitude is needed just to make sure that you're able to flip it around. So great job by Sword of Skill to at least keep that mental. But if I'm Celestial Knights, you at least now know that this team can pull out something that isn't the Wrecking Ball.
Absolutely, and they did it so well. I feel like Runes Happy, I need a statistic count on Runes Happy specifically, because I feel like that map, most often than not, is the one where you'll see a team at 120 meters, like in the first 5 minutes, and then suddenly you can bring it back in the last 5 minutes, and that's all that matters. I've seen that happen more times than not on Runes Happy, which might just be how it is at this point. But we will be going over to a very quick break between maps, as we now hand over the pick of mode and map to Celestial Knights, and the bans, of course, go to them their way first. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Got lots of love. Got lots of love. Got lots of love. 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 Love.
And we're back after a very, very close game 2 on Runasapi, going in favor of SOS. They don't need SOS no more. We're going over to a game 3. We're going over to New Junk City. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we start a series off. It is a close 1-1 so far. Like, I am at the edge of my seat. And this chair is falling apart. So we are, my fault to end this stream with how things are going.
I hope that at the end of the stream that chair is still put together one way or another, but it has been a nail-biter close matchup between these two teams, right? That Runasapi map really just showing it all together. You know, Celestial Knights had that great showing on that first 4 minutes, 5 minutes of Runasapi, almost getting it to close to the end on the in their favor, but really sort of skilled at the end of the day, just, you know, tightening their butt cheeks together, making sure that they can turn things around and turn it back, and that's exactly what happened at the end of the day, even with the very, you know, almost unfortunate DC. But hey, new map type, maybe kind of the same compositions we might be seeing, because if there's one thing we do know about Flashpoint maps in general, is that they're still brawl heavy at the end of the day.
Especially New Junk City. I think Servasa can get a little bit funky, a little bit funny with it, but with New Junk City, with how close everything can kind of be, you lead yourself to be open to Brawl v Brawl, whether it's JQ Brawl, whether it's with a Ram, a Mauga as well, or Risa coming back as well, are really strong contenders for those for tanks in that matchup. And also the backline, pretty stable with from both teams, you've kind of been seeing a consistent, you know, Lucio from Celestial Knights, and a more flexible Kiri Lucio, or an Ana Brig, or an Ana Juno. They've kind of been doing whatever they need to. So with that in mind, hero bands might be a little bit tricky against SOS, as they're clearly very flexible in their character pools.
Yep, and I think if I am at least Celestial Knights getting this, you know, first ban pick, I would probably ban something that would just make, I don't know, New Junk City more annoying and oppressive to play in, and rarely is that a support character, right? Normally I would probably see something along the lines of a tank, maybe a DPS. So it's gonna wait probably a few more seconds to see what this Celestial Knight squad have banned, but I'm leaning towards maybe a tank here.
Oh, absolutely. If it's gonna be a New Junk City, yeah, there we go. We called it. It's gonna be the Malga band. It's gonna be the tank band. Which, first of all, good. I don't want to see Malga today. I have seen it.
There is a god in this world.
There is a god in this
There's a
world.
higher spiritual being in this world.
The
Thank you.
celestial bodies are aligned, Thor. They have
Oh my
looked
gosh.
down on us with ease and positivity.
Yeah, the
But-
knights have graced us with, the
Yes.
celestial blessing of no Mauga. So thank you. But in response of that, it's now up to the sort of skill to figure out what hero to ban for this next selection, and they only have a DPS and support to play with. I think it should be a DPS. I see no sense in banning a support because I think there's always a multiple of never mind.
Well, this is going by the CGL Season 15 theme of ban Kiriko map 3. Does not have to be a consistent map 3. It can be push, be flashpoint, it can be escort, it can be hybrid. Don't know what it is about Kirikos and their map 3s, but we're banning them anyway. So that is going to be kind of... Actually, it's interesting because we didn't really see Celestial Knights with the Kiriko at all here. So we are keeping Dragonhorn in. Remember, he was a substitute map 2, and now he's continuing into map 3. Call Me M sticking, and maybe can also play the Queen here. I'm kind of excited to see him play his favorite character. The other side of things, Celestial Knights, they have a couple of options here. They can mirror the brawl. They're probably going to run with the Ram again with the Juno Lucio, just for that extra speed in New Junk City. So lots of things we can see here. Lots of also similarities in keeping things the same as we move and jump into the rundown city of New Junk City.
Yep, and if there is one thing New Junk City has to offer, it is pretty much, the chaos of all the broken down areas and spaces, and it seems like sort of Skilled is running out with... I need to know if this is the support line they are sticking with, because I am not opposed to a Moira pick.
Yes,
like
Moira is so good right now.
I am a Moira enjoyer. I would rather play Moira in a brawl comp than any other character, but because I was a BAP one trick for I was forced to be a BAP player for so long, I got frustrated. I just want to play Moira. And stop nerfing my character. Stop nerfing my character. But yes, they are rolling out with this Juno Moira. So I think this is here to just enable Dub and Dragonor to go deep in with these heal orbs.
Oh, you said enable? Yo, I just saw Celestial Knights completely explode. You saw the timing from Dub. They were so patient. Oh my goodness, that was so cool. That was so cool.
That was so cool to watch. But literally, let's take a look at how this composition is run. Right, you have Ligma on this Moira, so you are at least expecting with the DPS line that they're running that they want to go deep in or dive in, and the only thing that could keep them up behind a Ramatra shield would be a right? A heal orb would do so much wonders, and I think that's how they are modifying this a bit as they make a quick rotate to try to catch Celestial Knights off guard.
The rotation was so cool, but also trade off DPSs here. I love that they're kind of chasing Celestial Knights here. Anax goes for tries to reconvene the team around the other side of things, maybe to mimic the rotation that we saw from SOS, but unfortunately didn't plan out very well here. Ligma Toes, the name. Ligma going over the high ground, helping the team stay alive even longer with that survivability. And also I want to mention the perk that Moira gets where you get healing reduction with the damage orb, underrated. But they're coming right back in. Oh, I don't even know if the fight ended or started. They're just going right into the next fight, but then it's forced to proc the Nemesis form early on, has to get topped up by the supports here. We also have Annihilation in the back pocket. Call Me M, despite the amount of fight wins and fight and a half wins we've gotten from SOS, doesn't even have Rampage online.
Yeah, no, but I think what you want to build up towards is this orbital rate to get through this Ramatra ultimate, especially with Dub taking a pick already.
They're taking 2 picks, in fact. Actually taking one onto Anax, but Banana is still honestly up and around. Ligma has to proc open with that Coalescence, and that is going to be allowing the team of SOS to not only stay alive, but also put a lot of hurt on the Celestial Knights. It might look like Celestial Knights might need to make some sort of adjustment here.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing of how this is being played is because they opted out of a Lucio, your speed really is just from that Juno. You have to be more intentional with these rotates. But the one thing that is significantly different is just the amount of healing to like keep yourselves up through those rotates, keep yourself up through those fights. There's just more healing coming out. So even if Viral goes down, or even if Ligma goes down, there is still some enabling and assistance that they can provide to everyone else on SOS, especially now that they have 4 ultimates to work with and early skill.
Oh, they have the rampage. They go for the orbital, and the most beautiful counter to orbital is a nice, clean rampage from Ikami. And they go, ooh, Anax goes for the Death Blossom. Might be going to see a swap, honestly. Wasn't the most optimal Death Blossom in the world, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a swap named to a Tracer or a Genji just to mark the DPS of SOS. Oh no.
I think they might be sticking. It might be more of like this is something that Celestial Knights have heavily practiced. The Ramatra, Juno with Lucio. They think this is the answer. This is what they practice. This is what they want to stick with. And for sort of skilled, I think the switch to the Moira just makes it easier at least to melt down targets from a distance in a way, especially a very vertically challenged Viral.
Sunbear expended on Dragon Lord's approach. Dragon Blade also project from Dub, but doesn't really find too much. Death Blossom gonna be huge onto Kami M. Basically just cleans up the fight easily. Moonlight has to be really careful because of the Genji behind her and a Juno right in front of her. Dub gonna be the one to find the dub at the end of the day, but Anax cleans up nicely. Ligma can absolutely stall for a little bit longer with the Moira, but that's all they're gonna get is 78% give or take. Oh,
I mean,
no,
the Ventures here, they're going to stall, and I think that's what you want, at least from this team. Never say die yet, and the point finally turns over. M needs to regroup with his team now. Celestial Knights having to use at least that. I think Lucio beat maybe in that fight, how it looked like, but they're very close to a Ramatra ultimate and that Death Blossom again. Moonlight switching over to a Tracer, just really there to harass maybe Ligma a bit more. So and maybe Dub in the process. So a lot more chasing is enabled. But for SOS, you have 2 ultimates to work with, and you should open up with one of them. And a flanking Moira is one of them.
Ooh, flanking Moira throws out the damage orb so they get less healing reduction. Oh, not quite gonna get it yet. They have to fade extra jump height instead in their favor. But just like that, beautifully done from the side of SOS. Such a quick, easy cleanup with only 1 ultimate expended, that being the Coalescence.
Coalescence, even though like it's a very underrated ultimate, right? Not only just for engagements, but also for sustain. And literally, I think one of the best ways to get value from it is like sometimes the flanking Moira works, right? And in that situation, it just did because no one was really marking Ligma at the end of the day. So SOS going to this next point, they can close off this map pretty well if they just take this last point. Match point for them, 2 ultimates to work with, make it 3 with Viral close to orbital ray. They have a plethora of options for their next engagement. Celestial Knights, they still have to build towards their orbital ray, and they could get there very close.
They have to find a way to proc this rampage out before the orbital raid, but Bananas goes down before that can even be a thought in Celestial Knight's head here. Dub has been pretty much uncontested on this Genji. There has to be some sort of response, or they're gonna lose this point as fast as they literally lost it right now.
Yep, and I think that answer to the Pharah might just be one of it, because really there isn't anything that could poke that Pharah in the sky. Maybe a Moira right click could do the job if they're close enough, but I wouldn't challenge that either. It's going to be really up to your Juno if that's the case to do a bit more poke damage. SOS, they will need to engage at least with this Rampage or with the Venture Ultimate, especially with Orbital Raid, drop Big Drain down.
Oh wow, and big Karn with big brain, and Dub does in fact find Anax in the sky, kills them for even trying to go for the Pharah. It's a quick team fight, it's a quick team recovery, and hopefully, well, Moonlight will likely just get the raid respawn for everyone else, but they should have this last fight in their favor.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hope. Not when they're pushing towards spawn to deny everything else. There is no such thing as touching point. There is only pushback to the spawn. Spawn holding is another way to play the game, yes. And that slows down the push even further because now the Lucio and the Tracer have to take a different angle to touch this. I don't think anyone's going to be able to touch the point.
No, they force a recall early on. The Lucio doesn't have speed boost anymore. They go for the Sound Barrier, but that's all that she wrote. Hope not able to get the skates on the floor in time. But that's okay. Sort of skilled, kind of. It's not GG skills. Oh, maybe they mean GM. Because it's first of 3.
It's It's first to 3.
It's first to 3, guys.
First to 3, right? Yes.
Yeah, wait, yeah, there you go, Bananas. Not too much. Don't boom yet.
Don't boom yet. Don't boom
Boom
yet.
yet.
We got it.
No, don't boom yet, guys. It's first to 3. We have another map on our hands. It's your pick. Mode and map and first ban goes in their favor. And honestly, they kind of chose a map that sort of skilled were kind of like, oh, thank God they chose New Junk City because they just had the queen. They had everything going for them. And honestly, the queen was so strong. So good.
The queen was so strong, but also the selection of, other heroes to enable it, right? Just the icing on that, proverbial cake, right? So it's just really, really great. And I think that's what turned things around for them, right? Understanding they don't really need the speed all the time from a Lucio. They just really need those key moments like, okay, we speed in now, whether that's through the shout, whether that's through the Juno ring. So great job on them. And if I'm Celestial Knights, I think what I would consider doing is picking a map that enables Moonlights. Because when Moonlights is on that Sojourn, they're doing magical things, right? If that map of Lijiang Tower was showed anything, it's that they can land those shots. They're very patient, even with firing those Sojourn right clicks. So I think picking a map that would enable Moonlights to just pop off might be the play for Celestial Knights. And if there's one thing that we know about hit scans in general, is that longer range sight maps would be great. So maybe let's go to an escort, because we really haven't picked an escort map yet.
They have the option of either a hybrid or an escort, which at this point, since you can't repeat a mode and a map if it's already been played before, all of them have been played already, they could choose. They can let her, if we want to enable the Moonlights, if they want to enable her Sojourn, her Widowmaker, as that is her favorite character as well. And trust me, I know she hits those shots when she's given the space. And unfortunately, with something like New Junk City, the point is to not give space. The point is to really overrun and overwhelm the other team as much as possible. So I would love to see us go to like a Shambali, a Rialto. Even there's some merit to going to Midtown or Iconwald as well. Blizzard World at the same time also gives a lot of leeway to not only just playing into her sightlines and into her character pool, but also allows you to be a little more flexible with going maybe too much brawl, maybe gotta slow it down, maybe gotta bring it back, and maybe bring out a poke or bring out a dive. That will really help enable her either by making space with a dive or by shooting her and protecting her with a poke, like a Sigma shield or something like that.
Exactly, and that also at least puts a team like SOS into a slightly more disadvantage, because when we saw how SOS played in New Junk City, it felt so intentional. It felt speed, it felt go in, it was just all in your face, right? And very targeted. That's something you're able to do in a game composition like Brawl, right? So it's more of where can we bring now, SOS so that they can't do this as easily.
Midtown, right in my backyard, in fact.
Our backyards.
Our backyard. Oh, you know it. We're going right over to Midtown, and of course, with Celestial Knights getting that first mode and map pick, as well as hero bans, they will also be allowing SOS to pick the side as they are the winner. So most likely than not, they're probably going to go for defense against Celestial Knights. So we're probably going to be seeing the Knights on the attack phase, which already you're down a game. You're threatened. You're threatened by the fact that if you lose this, you're out of the midseason playoffs. Excuse me, the midseason bracket. I don't want to say playoffs. That's incorrect. But and starting off on attack, it puts you in a little bit of a different mindset where you really did to put pedal to the metal. At least with defense, you can slow it down. You can regroup a little bit easier. It's a little bit easier to be on defense, but to attack first, that's always the kicker, especially on Midtown. Going underneath the train, going around alleyway, sometimes going around the fire truck. Those are they're choke areas that are really difficult to get. Some of the most difficult to get through for a hybrid map.
Oh yeah, 100%. But we are entering that ban phase, and if I am Celestial Knights, seeing how how SOS wants to play, I think we ban something that's brawly, right? And force them into a situation where they have to play something that's less like in the favor of SOS, but I wonder if that's going to be the case.
Well, we're gonna see right now as we have the timer tick down to 0. Celestial Knights, I would expect kind of a tank ban, because that's kind of been the most consistent ban we've seen between most CGL matches, you know, because tank at this point has really risen up to be arguably the deciding factor in a lot of fights, and it looks like, aha, there we go. Looks like we're banning the Sigma here, and that makes sense. That's kind of Sigma, you know, does really well on that first point. But you know who also does well? Orisa, Ramatra. I've seen
Just say anyone with a shield at this
basically
point.
anyone. I'm about to say anyone with a shield. I'm about to say Reinhardt. But I was like, maybe that's a little bit too ambitious.
I mean, here's my take with Reinhardt's, right? You want to play a Reinhardt, you gotta have a main. 100%. Like, I feel like
Yes,
Rein's are
1000%.
best enabled if there's a Mei. If you don't have a competent Mei player with your Rein, just don't play Rein. Right? I think that's how it is. But bans on the side of SOS, we have denied the Speedy Boy.
Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that? Lucio is such a chill guy. Why would you ban Lucio? No, I understand. The strongest part of Celestial Knight has been their double speed. You take out one of their legs, where they have to limp with something, you know? But with Juno, I think she's a little bit more flexible to pair with than Lucio. So you can have like Juno Ana, Juno Kiri, Juno Bap, Juno Brig, Juno Mercy. You can have really whatever you want.
Oh
with
my
Juno.
god, please don't say Juno Mercy.
Juno Mercy.
I had a game. I played like the one time I come back to play like Overwatch, and like I'm dealing with like a fucking Juno Mercy in my game, and I'm just like, is my team not going to try to get this Mercy? Hello? Like, someone killed... No. I'm taking matters to my own hands. Literally locked Diana and was just like, I ain't healing you, so I'm killing this Mercy.
We are going to be seeing Hoxie Foxy make a comeback from map 1, coming into map 4. Very glad to see them come back to the fray, and I think, honestly, this comp goes hard. The JQ with Zen goes hard. That backline, by the way, is crazy. Everyone just dies with a really good Zen Moira. I've been a victim of it many a time.
Here's my take on a Zen Moira backline. Like, I respect it. What everyone else, how you play it in like as a team is you are, as like everyone else, the DPS and the tank, your trust is you get no heals.
Yes,
your supports are flanking. Like, go fend off for yourself. Play high sustain characters. Like, that's it. Go play stuff like Junker Queen. Go play stuff like Ramatra. Like, you're not gonna get healed. Your supports are flanking in the backline and are going to get the trades. Like, that's how it is.
They're making plays all the time. It's just making plays.
And they're also making plays by now playing, instead of, maybe it's not a Zen Moira, but we have on a Zen. So we're thinking high damage, melt everyone, and I think that's why they wanted to remove the Lucio, because the double speed is denied, which means your supports are able to rotate much easily when they're being rushed on, right?
Yep.
They have more survivability, and I think that's why they wanted that ban. Celestial Knights still have decided to go with a Juno Kiri, which, you know, a Kiri choice, always good, especially against oh no.
Oh, and just like that, we were just saying that Zenyatta, especially on a map like Midtown, strong character. This little choke area, yeah, that's a free volley, 1,000 days a week. This is gonna be really interesting to also see the Winston with the Ana, the Zen. Usually you'll see that with like a Ana Brig, but I think they knew Celestial Knights were not going to go with anything different than what they've been playing. Maybe the Anax and the Genji might be a little bit of a turnaround. So as we get into this next phase of the fight, we see the high ground being occupied by They Call Me Them. They're kind of by themselves here. They have to back up. He has to back up really fast. And Bananas, now having already expended that Discord, doesn't have to be Discord for another couple of seconds. They can really walk on the rest of the team here, and SOS has to kind of play catch up with the backline. They're pinching them into this little area. They're playing on the Mega Pack. The high ground being controlled by Moon Knights on this Sojourn, which we were talking about earlier. And this looks like a good setup for Celestial Knights to just explode out and kill everybody.
Yep, and with a jump in, that's a Suzu out, but Ligma already down by the Ramartra just means that there's an opening and nothing really to peel the ram that just speeds onto them with Big Brain. So Tracer's just what's needed from SOS as the point continues to hit. Moonlight keeping mark of Dub's Tracer. They know they're in the back line, and there's one more touch, and that should be enough at least to get everyone back on board for SOS.
Band's getting topped up real fast by the supports of Big Brain and Hope, but their own HP bars are not looking the best here. Hope does get anti-nated, goes for... I don't think they could be able to Suzu in time before getting popped up and pelted by Viral. Oh, and look how close the tick meter is. Literally 96.5%. But they have the continued rush. They're gonna have the orbital. They're gonna have everything to just bum rush the point and take it.
Yeah, but I think what you don't have is something to, at least, you'll have to sustain a Viral with that Zenyatta ultimate. So if you're a Viral, your goal is to make sure you don't pop it up too early, especially when we're probably going to be expecting some layered ultimates from Celestial Knights. I think if you can survive through the initial rush without using Zenyatta ultimate, that's great. It's when you use it for orbital raid that might make the difference. But hey, with Big Brain down, that you don't really need it.
That was a big Anthony too. I mean, you got on one person, but the one person was a support. Really good job from Ligma here. Post on ready for Dub here at the same time. Hoxie getting pelted down by the burning as well, but from Moonlight, who's now gone over to the Ash. Hope really fast dagger there. Don't really need that right now. A minute left already, and it's just been a kind of slow-paced game, but again, 4 ultimates ready for either side.
4 ultimates from both sides. We are likely to be seeing 8 ultimates get expanded in this fight, knowing these teams at the end of the day, because it did happen the last time. Nano already committed.
Nano committed, continued rush committed. We also commit with the Transcendence, which might be huge. Actually, you know what I would do? I would die fast here, and I would come back. But Blade does get procced here. We want to go for the on the high ground by herself because she doesn't have this, the Zen with her anymore. But Anax is getting pelted by this Winston. It's just Banana, I believe, on the point, going for the Annihilation. Sleep does come through, and I'm not sure they're running groggy, but the stick does come in. And here's the orbital, the overclock from Hoxie, but a little bit too late. Orbital Ray helped Big Brain survive another day. Well, it's called out, however, one last pick before Hoxie comes up on this high ground.
It's kind of dicey for Big Brain to use the Juno ultimate at the end, because it really seemed like they won that, and that was unnecessary, because you could have that for this next push to keep this cart rolling, especially when both teams had used ultimates. You want to at least be in that ult lead if you're trying to continue to have the cart rolling and touch the point. This isn't Marvel Rivals! The cart doesn't move on its own! Please touch the cart! Thank you. Hope touching back to the cart, so we at least are going to be in an ult building stage is how this is going to be looking like, with both teams just doing poke damage.
I think Celestial Knights is doing the plan of kind of just forcing the cart under and making Source Code have to either choose between meeting it on the forefront or the back of the tunnel here of Midtown. Looks like they meet in the front. They do get Anax out of the fight pretty early on, but they're trying to survive as long as possible. The cart is still being pushed, getting contested narrowly by, of course, They Call Me M. Man is in a really tough spot. I mean, has to use the Vortex, already used the mini pack, gets healed up thankfully by the supports who are there in the nick of time on the high ground, which they can now control easily. Anthony has also been committed, so Banana is gonna walk onto his Ana, goes back to people for the team, and if They Call Me M is in a bad spot. Shield went all the way to 0. They're getting out, but Hoxie Foxy unfortunately not gonna be able to get out the same way their tank could.
Yeah, They Call Me, I'm really just contesting the point, trying to get a coordinated guy with Dub who has Pulse Bomb. So you're at least hoping maybe an engagement with a Pulse in this next fight, and Prime will just proc so that in case there's a need of additional sustain, Ligma is really just there to nano. As the fight continues on, Dub gets the final 2 picks. If I am Celestial Knights, back to spawn, you have a minute left, and a minute left to build towards what is potentially 5 ultimates. So you're at least going to be in an ult lead in this next engagement, hopefully, unless SOS plays very aggressive and uses an ultimate to stuff their choke, or at least spawn doors, which I would not be surprised if they do, because they did do it in Neutron City.
3 ultimates, almost 4 for SOS, like you said. Something that's going to be building up that 5th, the 5, pretty much in this fight, ideally. Call Me M going super in, able to get the mini pack, but just not able to get the care fast enough. 20 seconds left on the clock here. They cannot afford to stack themselves out. Big Brain has to come back with a vengeance relatively fast as much as they possibly can. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's anyone's game. Postmom Dub is waiting for a sneaky push on to A-Nice as they try to rotate around him. Moon's already purple. Does not even get the Bob out in time. Overclock pulls out and takes down Big Brain. It's a 3v5 so far. Annihilation for Bananas might make everything turn around, and they can just sustain with the extra armor being rebuilt up. That's one down. Now they gotta stall the spot. The payload as much as possible. We're going, and I think they have the heal buff with the shield, which is really good in this engagement against the Brawl comp. And it's no longer in the ultimate, and everyone's coming back. Moonlight here to have some burning. We have the orbital, we have the Bob out, who's getting damage boosted by the moving orbital ray. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the clutch I was looking for. Will we touch? Will Dub try to touch? They will. Or is it gonna be enough without their Kiriko?
No, I think that should be enough. You still have your Ana up, but with the picks coming along the way of Celestial Knights, I think that is pretty much said and done. If I am this is M, I am in a tough spot. I need to get out and regroup with my team, prevent any other staggers, and build towards an ultimate. Maybe give Ligma some of those charge, because in this next engagement, with almost a minute, with probably just a minute left on the clock when they go in for their next fight, they're going to be in that ult lead. You have the Pulse Bomb, you're going to have Primal, you're going to have Nano. So if I am sort of skilled, I'm gonna be a bit patient with this one, right? Ensure that Celestial Knights don't get ult charge for them to build towards their ult and get a pick like that one.
Again, really good, consistently placed pulse-ons from Dub all night so far. And now they can kind of go in against Bananas, who has this Discord Orb onto them. Now they have Anthony onto them. Now they have to proc, like with his Nemesis Form. But now the attention is shifted over to Big Brain, who's in the air, forces resources out from Hope. They don't have the CP for a little bit, but they call me M, has to use the Primal for sustain. And now we're in his room, we're boxing, we go for the TP. Now looking at Big Brain, who goes into the open air, and so is Call Me M, realizes, oh snap, I'm in a little bit of a bad situation. Backs up immediately, gets healed right back up, and now we only have the Nano for SOS.
SOS, at least that Nano is going to be a game changer, especially with Viral already building towards that Transcendence. They had just swapped getting to this point, so if they can build towards this place safe, it could make a whole difference. And They Call Me M is Nano, allowing them to just go in and get this Juno, hopefully.
Oh, that's a good pick early on from Moonlight, but we don't touch the cart. We don't touch the cart. We don't touch the cart. Thor, I'm gonna start crying.
Overwatch is an objective-based game. There's a card that needs to be pushed, and as much as it is good to not be touching the cart at only having one person in the cart touch during overtime, I think we need to have, you know, a really good skill called communication to say who's on point.
I need my Tracer on the cart. I will say, during this map, I think because tensions are so high, yeah, they're down a game, they're on match point for SOS. The Celestial Knights might have just gotten a little bit too caught up in it, you know, and they were having some troubles with the cart. We saw in the beginning with the beginning of Midtown second point. We saw it at the very end. There's actually a while where under the bridge, no one was really touching the cart right next to the police car right there. You saw in the feed. They were also while you were explaining and doing color, I was watching the cart. No one touched it, you know, before overtime happened, before the 10-second mark happened, and I was like, oh my god, guys, please. So hopefully they yap about it in the chat. They're like, guys, we must stay on the cart. I need I need my
we need an Oxywash Oxidant, Monty.
I need sometimes to lock in, put some Oxidant wash on their, you know, get a little fresh clean. They're ready. Mentals reset. They're going for defense. It's all to SOS with the Orisa now to break through.
I think that should be a solid way to just break through what might be a lot of damage coming in on the defense. And the spin really just allows you to push through, you know, all the damage that might be coming in while eating it. So I think creating a space for Hoxie to get some damage in might be part of the play of this Orisa. And I think there's a huge trust by They Call Me M with the support line, because they are definitely going to be getting less heals than usual with this Zen Kiriko backline.
But they're trusting that the Zen and Kiriko get those picks, being those high damage characters, and like that, the damage orb onto the blocking Ramatra, yeah, great, you can block all you want, but the damage orb is so good for Hoxie Foxy, who is on that high ground near the train station, for they come in who is in front and bullying Bananas, as you should with the Orisa. Anax, unfortunately, just couldn't get the right, walls off, but I think here, maybe a bit easier.
I think here might be easier, especially if you are SOS and your goal at the end of the day really is to, maybe take that high ground, because you want that high ground for your Zen, for Viral to do all that spam damage without really being forced out, but it's to get there first that is part of the struggle. And this first corner, no ultimates to work with from both sides, but except now Ligma has a Kiriko Rush, so that's something that they could hard engage with, but maybe not with those picks coming on their way.
They don't have to, because yeah, like you said, they're down to support. We go for the ice block on the Mei real fast, and there we go, boom, trade off, we get the dub, we literally get the dub for Moonlights, and woo, that tracking through the slide was clean from Hoxie.
That is definitely clean. Moonlights, though, is at least making sure to, keep Dub in check, and they have been doing a great job. If I am Celestial Knights, I'm definitely trying to figure out how to engage this next fight, especially with SOS having 5 ultimates. Big Brain, you may need to layer support ultimates at this rate just to create an opening. But the Zarya swap might be to deal with this Orisa at the end of the day.
And Carbine, mind you, is still moving underneath them while they're going for these high ground engages. And the lack of one person means that Hoxie doesn't really have the manpower to stay healed up. And that Terra Surge, you saw the bubble right on the supports, means the Bananas should be completely charged up. Transcendence on the objective, Orbital Ray on the high ground, actually. Liquidzo's helping the rotation go right back up to the bridge here. And just like that, we've kind of flipped it in favor of the So Nice positioning wise. Two are skilled, we're really good on being on the low ground, but now they're on the high ground, the supports are separated, the Zen can't get anywhere, Bananas is super low, has to reach back to the team here, but no hope, means that they can't get healed up. Bob has to be the new tank right now.
Bob has to be the tank and contest point, and I think they are at least on the point that at least stalls the point a bit more for them, as that's an ambitious attempt to stick on to Moonlights, doesn't really hit, but if I am SOS, I'll wait for Bob to die out before we re-engage, but for Celestial Knights, that's a good play because you now have more time to regroup and you have a pulse bomb to work with, and SOS had to expend almost 5 of their ultimates. I hope they touch the point. No C9s, please.
They should. I mean, we're seeing SOS get off the objective for a second, but we've lost a tank. That's massive. We also have Anax in position to go for a pulse and also keep the point in their favor. Someone at least is on the point. We're going for the Zen. Boom. Beautiful. Now track down who your next target is. It's gonna be pretty much nobody, as they are backing out relatively fast. Bananas, I actually like the Zarya swap. It's just like natural counter reset and actually forces M to go to the Winston.
Yeah, and I wonder if this is something M would be okay playing with, as given that he does have this Kiriko Zen backline. So they might need to play a bit safer, just for the sole reason that they could be melted super quickly by all the damage that will be coming in. But Ligma has the rush. I think that's something you open with, and that's exactly what they do.
From the hack, Suso goes all the way down around the objective here. 2 down for the count. Transcendence using retaliation to the Graviton Surge from Bananas. Bananas still alive, but likely not for any longer. Oh, my Zen's getting active. Hope goes down, and it's just Bananas left on the objective. 2 minutes shade. We shaved off a couple minutes, so they're gonna get about 3.5 minutes for only 30 meters. Oh, okay, we have someone on the bottom. Don't worry.
I think if I am SOS, my goal here is to make sure it makes it super difficult for them to get to the point, because with where it stopped, that is a pretty far box from the spawn of the defenders. So Celestial Knights, open up with a rush. Maybe not too early.
Open with
maybe not.
Go for the Diva. Diva touches in time. We're seeing a lot of console thing happening, and neither tanker can be having their perks as fast as anyone else right now. We're gonna be seeing Hope. The kitchen has now expended. Bananas going crazy, trying to burn on his Winston. That's basically the whole plan here. Orbital Ray now having to be used as well. They're pushing forward, but there's a Winston in the back playing around the mini pack, and if they're not careful, they might actually forget about the objective. Hoxie Foxy goes for the overclock here, tries to find one supports behind his safety of the shield. Big Brain narrowly around the corner, but not there fast enough. And just like that, there's one last touch I think from Anaz that could happen, but that's all that she wrote. Sort of Skilled brings it back 3-1 against the Celestial Knights?
Maybe this team needs to change their name just a bit, because I don't think they're just sort of skilled at this point with that type of gameplay that they have shown. Very proactive no matter what composition they were running, and really creating the openings, especially this very aggressive gameplay by Viral, who I think at this point this is the second play of the game that went to them.
For sure. I mean, and also the Zenyatta, beautiful. No complaints there. Always love a big Zen play from fellow Zen players. But otherwise, as you guys saw, 3-1 in favor of Sort of Skill. It started off really strong for Celestial Knights, but I think as the games went on, as Sort of Skill kind of got the breakdown, got the analysis in their favor, they definitely were able to kind of get a little bit in the Knights' heads regarding bans, regarding map preparations as well. So honestly, really good job from both teams. However, you know, despite the 3-1, it was really close every single time, and really generally could have gone either way. But otherwise, that is all we have until we have, of course, the CGL interview as always. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to get that locked and loaded for you guys.
Here, you know, you get an insight and you know something, you know, but you don't want to say it out loud because you're kind of afraid that it's not going to be really true and it'll spoil the whole thing for you, you know. But when somebody makes you say it, then, and it's true, then it just makes it more beautiful of a thing.
Welcome back, everybody. After a riveting 4-map series, going by the way of SOS, just sort of skill people, nothing crazy. It has been a wonderful night, and I have 2 wonderful people coming in for an interview. We have Dub and M coming in, the DPS and the tank here. Oh my goodness, guys, how are we feeling? Because there's a lot that went on in this game.
I'm feeling great.
We're feeling good. Yeah, a little disappointed. We did lose a map. And unfortunately, it is the first map that we lose, and we do plan it for it to be our last. But we're excited for the finals, and we're feeling pumped.
Ready.
That's great to hear that. You are excited for that next matchup, and you did point out that just a very unfortunate loss in that first map. Could you potentially run through what may have happened in that map 1, right? Because it looked like you guys at least had a pretty solid game plan going in, and you were turning things around and taking the point, but it just didn't go in your favor at the end of the day. So what happened during that map?
You can tell the white room.
Oh, yeah. So we had a fight, right? I think this is where our mentals may have got shot or something, but we had a fight where we flipped a point, and we decided to walk into a room with Ramatra. And he had ult, so he pressed the ult button, and it didn't quite go very good. I'm sure you can imagine. So
ball comp versus Ram is not a winning matchup in a tiny room.
Right. In a 9x9 room or 6x6, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and I completely understand that. Certain tanks in a tiny room, never a good idea. Ramatra being one of them, Junker Queen potentially another one also. So I 100% get it. But what did you guys do to turn things around from that point onward? Because even looking at Runasopi initially, it was very kind of dicey. They almost took it from you guys in that first 4 minutes. So what did you do to turn things around?
So a thing you'll learn about me over time if you watch me is I'm a generational feeder. I love getting cooldowns forced. I love losing my health bar. I love forcing Suzu. So opening up, that's just all I was doing. If you watch those VODs, other teams that are gonna VOD me, I'm telling you now, if you shoot me, my cooldowns are gone. So I was just inting, frankly, just throwing the game away. And then I decided I'm gonna play like a human being and just stop inting. And then once I started to just save my cooldowns and not get shot by 5 people at the same time, and we actually made engages under their backline and shot people, we started winning. Imagine that. And then the DC was unfortunate. CGL Nation, it will not be the last time you see MDC mid game.
No, it will not.
I do it all the time.
Oh, no.
But luckily I had my team to back me up, and we took the map, and then we just snowballed.
Right. Yeah.
I can't believe we have a chronic DCer in my tournament.
Chronic DCer.
No. I understand where M was coming from, because that was the story of my life in my last set of tournaments in Overwatch 1. I was the chronic DCer, and people still asked me to ring for their matches. It was crazy.
Testament to your skill, which is better. Your skill is better than your internet connection. It was worth it.
Amen.
They'll gamble the DC. They'll gamble the DC, and I think that's how it sometimes works.
Oh, that's too funny. I have a chronic DCer in my tournament, and you guys played so well from that point on. I was so scared. If you look back in the broadcast, I was literally
I'll be watching.
My horror on my face. I was like, oh my god, it's over. They're gonna, oh my god. But good clutch, good reversal, beautiful stuff.
Thank you.
And for your last question, who do you want to give a shout out to on the broadcast? And of course, you can each answer individually if you like.
Yeah, you go first, Dub.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would love to shout out Mark Deasy. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with him, but that's my guy for real. He came in chat, so I appreciate that. I'm gonna let M get the other shout out though. He really wanted to do this one, so I'm gonna let him get it.
So I'll start with my team. I love my teammates, my support line, Valo and Dev. Without them, I would troll into every fight. Those guys keep me up way more than they should. And then my other DPS besides Dev, Dragonar and Vox, they're both super flexible players who are always willing to do exactly what we need to win. Mental's through the roof, and we wouldn't be a team without you guys, so I appreciate you guys so much. And last but not least, I'd love to shout out Logan Main. Really excited to play and beat you guys this coming weekend, and to take that championship home for the mid-season tournament. And then, of course, we will beat you guys in the finals. But you know, you guys look great, and I'm excited to play against you guys. So see you soon.
Heard.
Hey, I love a little bit of I can't wait to see you and beat you. You know, already shake my hand, call it a day. I love that from you guys. Otherwise, really good stuff. I know it's a bit late, so I'm gonna let you guys go. I cannot wait to see you.
Thank you so
Schedule that
much.
ASAP so Fish does not get you. I want to see you guys back on this stream ASAP. I want to see that finals. All right, so go do that. Be good, people. I will see you guys back on here for your finals match, hopefully.
Good night, CGL Nation.
Take it easy.
Bye bye. Chronic DCer, by the way.
Oh no, I understand that very close to home. That's everyone. Someone has a clip of it on a stream. Like they literally said, "Oh, Thor DC'd," and everyone just like said no in like a chorus. It was
no. And then you're like,
I have it saved. I have it saved. It was so funny.
That's too funny. Stop. Oh my goodness. I used to be the chronic DCer, and then I learned what Ethernet kill was. My life has changed since then. It was a very bad time a year ago. Okay, we were going through it. But that is all we have for you guys on this stream. But if you want to catch up on some more Overwatch action, I have something very cool and sexy for you guys that I did not have at 8 o'clock. I'm going to pull up right now the schedule. We have CGL 2 coming to you live right now between three big bigs. Toyota Fans 600 going up against the University of Toronto Academy. It's 2-1 right now, so it might end really soon. So go pop in, go support right now. CGL2, give the casters over there some love, get the production there also some love from our end of things. But otherwise, here's a recap of what happened today. We saw RG Varsity 3-0 Unknown Origin. We just covered Amplify and Vicious Sharks earlier at 8 o'clock, which you can see was a 3-0. So here's your recap. Go follow and go support CGL2 as they close out that game 4, maybe into a game 5. I don't know. I gotta go over there myself as well. But that's all we have for you guys on this side of things. Shout out to my producer. Shout outs to my observer. Shout outs to you, Thor, for always being a pleasure to work with. Any last words, of course, from you?
It's been a pleasure to work with you also again, Mati, and along with, the production and observers behind the scenes. I think we have Rhino and Mara working behind the scenes for us, so great job to them for keeping this stream up and running. But that is all we have for tonight on the CGL 1 stream, so, stay tuned for, probably finals matches that are happening later on this weekend. So, stay up to date, stay tuned, and have a good night, everyone. We hope to see you back again in the weekend.